People often say the same thing about Capricorn. They're strange, too quiet in rooms where everyone else is talking, too serious in a world that celebrates chaos, too controlled in situations where others act without thinking. And somewhere along the way, a strange label began to follow them everywhere: weird. But here is the question almost no one stops to ask. Are Capricorns truly weird? Or are they simply living on a level most people have never learnt to see? Because if you observe them closely, something unusual begins to appear. Capricorn rarely wastes words. They watch more than they speak. They smile even while carrying storms inside their mind. And when everyone else is chasing attention, Capricorn is quietly building something that may take years to reveal. To some people, that silence feels uncomfortable. To others, it feels mysterious. And that is exactly why so many people misunderstand Capricorn. In 2026, that misunderstanding becomes even more obvious. Because the qualities that make Capricorn seem strange to the world are the very qualities that allow them to survive what others cannot. Discipline that never breaks, patience that seems almost unnatural, and a way of loving that is slow, cautious, yet incredibly powerful. So tonight we are going to explore a question that has puzzled people for generations. Why does Capricorn seem so different from everyone else? What is really happening inside the mind of someone born under this sign? And why do so many people describe Capricorn as weird, when in reality they may simply be one of the most misunderstood personalities in the Zodiac? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you may begin to see Capricorn in a completely different way. But before we begin, I want to ask you something. What is your zodiac sign and your birth date? Write it in the comments below. I read every comment, and your story might appear in a future video. Now let's begin exploring the mysterious mind of Capricorn. Part 1. The silent mind of Capricorn. One of the first reasons people begin to describe Capricorn as strange is their silence. Not the uncomfortable silence that comes from having nothing to say, but the deliberate silence that comes from seeing too much. If you have ever spent time with a Capricorn, you may have noticed something unusual about the way they move through conversations. They rarely rush to speak. In fact, many people feel slightly unsettled around them at first, because Capricorn often listens longer than most people expect. While others are quick to react, Capricorn observes. They watch body language. They listen to the tone behind someone's words. They notice the small inconsistencies most people miss. And before they say anything, their mind has already examined the situation from several different angles. To the outside world, this can look strange. People who live in a fast-talking society often feel uncomfortable around someone who does not immediately fill every moment with words. Some assume Capricorn is shy. Others assume they are judging everyone in the room. And a few people even mistake their quiet nature for arrogance. But the truth is something very different. Capricorn's silence is rarely empty. It is full of thought, full of observation, full of calculation. Many Capricorns learned early in life that speaking too quickly can create unnecessary problems. So instead of reacting impulsively, they developed a habit that many people never master. They pause, they analyze, they understand the situation before they decide how to respond. And that single habit often makes them appear unusual in social environments where people are rewarded for being loud rather than being thoughtful. But here is something fascinating. When a Capricorn finally does speak, people tend to listen because their words rarely come from impulse. They come from clarity. And that clarity is exactly what makes Capricorn so different. While many people talk in order to be heard, Capricorn speaks only when the words actually matter. There is a quiet intelligence behind that restraint, a patience that is becoming increasingly rare in a world that moves faster every year. And perhaps that is the deeper truth hiding behind the label of weird. Capricorn is not strange because they are silent. They are silent because they are thinking. And thinking deeply has always made certain people stand out from the crowd. There is also another layer to this behavior that few people notice. Capricorn understands something that many people learn only after painful experiences. Not every moment requires a reaction. Not every opinion deserves a response. Sometimes the most powerful position a person can take is simply observing the situation without revealing everything they know. That is a form of discipline, and discipline often looks strange to those who are used to reacting emotionally. But for Capricorn, this quiet awareness becomes one of their greatest strengths. It protects them from unnecessary conflict. It allows them to see patterns others miss. And over time, it helps them make decisions that are far more stable than the average person. So while the world may look at Capricorn and say, "Why are they so quiet?" the deeper question might actually be this: what are they seeing that everyone else is missing? And perhaps that question reveals something important about life itself, because sometimes the people who speak the least are the ones who understand the most. Life lesson: silence is not weakness. In many cases, silence is a sign of control. The ability to pause before reacting is one of the most powerful forms of intelligence a human being can develop. And Capricorn has spent years mastering that ability. Comment if this resonates with you, but Capricorn silence is only the first layer of their mysterious personality. Because behind that calm exterior, there is another side of Capricorn that most people rarely see, the emotions they carry quietly inside. Part 2. Why Capricorn hides their pain. If you spend enough time observing Capricorn, you will eventually notice something that confuses many people. They rarely show their pain. Even during moments when life becomes extremely difficult, Capricorn often maintains the same calm expression. They continue working. They continue showing up. They continue fulfilling responsibilities as if nothing inside them has changed. To many outsiders, this behavior seems almost unnatural. Some people even assume Capricorn simply does not feel emotions as deeply as others. But that assumption could not be further from the truth. In reality, Capricorn often feels more than they reveal. The difference is not the depth of their emotions. The difference is the way they choose to carry them. Many Capricorns develop a quiet understanding early in life that expressing every emotional storm rarely solves the problem. Complaining does not remove the challenge, and dramatic reactions often make situations even worse. So instead of allowing their emotions to control their actions, Capricorn begins practicing something that takes most people years to learn: emotional containment. They do not deny what they feel. They simply refuse to let those feelings dictate their decisions. This inner discipline can appear strange to people who are used to wearing their emotions openly. Friends may wonder why Capricorn does not talk more about their struggles. Family members may worry that they are holding too much inside. And sometimes people misinterpret their composure as emotional distance. But inside the mind of Capricorn, something very different is happening. They are processing, quietly, carefully, slowly transforming pain into understanding. Because Capricorn tends to view emotional hardship in a very unusual way. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they often ask a different question. What is this situation teaching me? That shift in perspective changes everything. Pain becomes information. Failure becomes instruction. And difficult experiences become stepping stones toward greater personal strength. Of course, this does not mean Capricorn is immune to emotional exhaustion. There are nights when the weight becomes heavy, moments when the pressure feels overwhelming. But even during those moments, Capricorn rarely seeks attention. They prefer solitude, a quiet space where they can think clearly, rebuild their focus, and prepare themselves to move forward again. This ability to endure emotional storms privately is one of the reasons Capricorn is often misunderstood. To some observers, it appears cold. To others, it seems distant. But beneath that calm surface exists a powerful emotional depth that only a small number of people are ever allowed to see. And those who earn Capricorn's trust eventually discover something remarkable. When Capricorn finally chooses to open their heart, their loyalty and emotional sincerity run deeper than most people expect. Because the emotions they guard so carefully are never shallow, they are deliberate, meaningful, and deeply rooted in commitment. Perhaps that is why many Capricorns learn to smile even while carrying invisible struggles. Not because they are pretending everything is perfect, but because they understand that strength often requires moving forward even when the path feels heavy. Life lesson: strength is not always loud. Sometimes the strongest people in the room are the ones quietly carrying burdens that no one else can see. Capricorn reminds us that resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about learning how to transform hardship into wisdom. Comment if you have ever hidden your struggles while continuing to move forward. But emotional resilience is only one part of Capricorn's unusual personality. There is another behavior that makes many people describe Capricorn as strange: their surprising comfort with solitude. Part 3. Why Capricorn prefers solitude. There is another trait of Capricorn that many people find unusual: their comfort with solitude. In a world where social energy is often celebrated, where people constantly seek attention, noise, and endless interaction, Capricorn can sometimes be found doing the exact opposite. They step away, not because they dislike people, and not because they cannot enjoy meaningful connections, but because Capricorn understands something that many people only discover later in life. Too much noise makes it difficult to think clearly. Too many voices can drown out the quiet guidance of one's own mind. So instead of constantly surrounding themselves with activity, Capricorn often creates distance. They leave the crowded room earlier than others. They choose calm environments over chaotic gatherings, and they are perfectly capable of spending long stretches of time alone without feeling lonely. To some people, this behavior appears strange. Friends may ask questions like, "Why don't you go out more? Why are you always working or thinking? Why do you prefer staying in rather than being part of the excitement?" But Capricorn does not experience solitude the same way others do. For them, solitude is not emptiness. It is clarity. It is a moment when the mind becomes quiet enough to organize thoughts, evaluate life, and prepare for what comes next. Many Capricorns use this quiet space to reflect on their goals. They analyze past decisions. They plan the future. They examine their own behavior with an honesty that many people avoid. This process can take time, sometimes years. But through this steady reflection, Capricorn slowly builds something powerful inside themselves: self-understanding. And self-understanding creates a type of confidence that cannot be shaken easily by outside opinions. While some people rely heavily on constant validation from others, Capricorn often learns to trust their own judgment. This independence is one of the reasons they can walk a path that looks different from everyone else. They are not easily influenced by trends. They do not feel pressure to follow every social expectation. Instead, they move at their own pace. And sometimes that pace requires stepping away from the noise of the world. Of course, this preference for solitude can be misunderstood. Some people interpret it as emotional distance. Others assume Capricorn simply does not enjoy life. But those who truly understand Capricorn realize something important. Their solitude is not isolation. It is preparation. Preparation for the long journey they are quietly building. Because Capricorn rarely lives only for the present moment, they think in years, sometimes decades. And that kind of long-term vision requires periods of reflection that most people rarely take. It requires discipline, focus, and the courage to spend time alone with one's own thoughts. Perhaps that is why Capricorn often appears different from those around them. While others rush toward temporary excitement, Capricorn is slowly constructing a life that will stand strong many years from now. Life lesson. Solitude is not something to fear. In many cases, solitude is the environment where the most important ideas in our lives are born. The ability to be comfortable alone allows a person to discover who they truly are, without the constant influence of the world around them. And Capricorn understands this better than most. Comment if you enjoy spending time alone to think about your life. But Capricorn's quiet independence also influences something else in a very unusual way: the way they approach love. Part 4. The unusual way. Capricorn loves. There is one area of Capricorn's personality that confuses people more than almost anything else: love. Because the way Capricorn approaches relationships often looks very different from what most people expect. In a world where romance is often fast, dramatic, and impulsive, Capricorn moves slowly, sometimes extremely slowly. While others might fall in love after a few intense moments of connection, Capricorn tends to observe from a distance first. They watch how someone behaves over time. They pay attention to consistency. They notice how a person handles stress, responsibility, honesty, and loyalty. To someone who expects instant passion, this careful observation can feel frustrating. A Capricorn might seem emotionally distant. They may appear cautious. Sometimes they even give the impression that they are uninterested. But beneath that calm surface, something far more complex is happening. Capricorn is studying the foundation of the relationship. Because for Capricorn, love is never just about emotion. It is about stability, trust, and the long-term future two people might build together. This perspective makes Capricorn very different from those who chase temporary excitement. They are not easily impressed by charming words. They rarely fall for dramatic displays of affection, and they are not interested in relationships that exist only for the thrill of the moment. Instead, Capricorn asks quiet questions inside their mind. Can this person be trusted during difficult times? Will they remain loyal when life becomes challenging? Do their values align with the future I am trying to create? These questions are rarely spoken out loud, but they guide nearly every decision Capricorn makes in matters of the heart. This careful approach often leads to misunderstandings. Some people assume Capricorn is emotionally cold. Others believe they are too focused on logic. And occasionally, someone may even walk away before Capricorn has had the chance to fully reveal how deeply they are capable of loving. But those who remain patient long enough eventually discover something powerful. Once Capricorn commits to someone, their loyalty is rarely temporary. Their love is not impulsive, it is intentional. And because of that intention, it tends to last far longer than many people expect. Capricorn does not enter relationships casually. But when they do choose someone, they often invest in that bond with extraordinary dedication. They support their partner's growth. They remain steady during difficult moments. And they quietly work to build a future that benefits both people. This type of love may not always appear dramatic, but it is deeply dependable. In many ways, Capricorn's approach to relationships reflects the same philosophy they apply to every other part of life. Build slowly, build carefully, and build something strong enough to survive time. Perhaps that is why Capricorn sometimes seems strange in matters of the heart. While others search for fireworks, Capricorn is quietly building a foundation. And foundations may not look exciting at first, but they are the reasons some structures stand for generations. Life lesson. True love is not measured by intensity alone. It is measured by consistency, loyalty, and the willingness to build something meaningful over time. Capricorn reminds us that the strongest relationships are not rushed. They are constructed with patience and intention. Comment if you believe loyalty still matters in modern relationships. But Capricorn's approach to love is only one piece of a much larger picture. Because another reason many people find Capricorn unusual is the level of discipline that shapes almost every part of their life. Part 5. The discipline that makes Capricorn different. Another reason people often describe Capricorn as unusual is the level of discipline that shapes the way they live. In a world that increasingly values instant gratification, Capricorn seems to operate according to a completely different rhythm. They are willing to wait, not for days, not for weeks, sometimes for years. While many people chase quick results or temporary excitement, Capricorn quietly focuses on building something that will last. This mindset can look strange to people who are used to immediate rewards. Friends might wonder why Capricorn spends so much time working toward long-term goals. Others may question why they remain so patient when success appears to be moving slowly. But Capricorn sees life through a different lens. They understand that the most valuable achievements rarely happen overnight. Strong careers take time to develop. Financial stability requires years of consistent effort. Meaningful accomplishments often grow slowly, like a structure carefully constructed piece by piece. So while others may become discouraged by setbacks or delays, Capricorn continues moving forward, step by step, even when progress feels invisible. This quiet persistence is one of the most powerful forces in Capricorn's personality. It allows them to endure situations that would cause many people to give up. They do not panic when obstacles appear. Instead, they adapt. They adjust their strategy. And then they keep going. Many Capricorns develop a remarkable ability to remain focused on their goals even when the outside world becomes chaotic. They understand that discipline is not simply about working hard for a short period of time. It is about maintaining consistent effort long after the initial motivation has faded. And that is where Capricorn often separates themselves from others. Because motivation can disappear, excitement can fade, but discipline continues moving forward. This is why Capricorn sometimes appears serious or overly focused. While others may see life as a series of short adventures, Capricorn often sees life as a long journey that requires preparation and patience. They are willing to sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term stability. They can tolerate periods of difficulty because they believe those sacrifices will eventually produce something meaningful. Of course, this level of discipline can also make Capricorn seem different from the people around them. Some friends may not understand why Capricorn works so intensely. Others may feel intimidated by their determination. And occasionally, people assume Capricorn is too serious about life. But the truth is much simpler. Capricorn is not obsessed with work. They are committed to building a future that will protect them and the people they care about. They are constructing stability, security, a life that does not collapse when unexpected challenges appear. And that kind of long-term thinking requires a level of discipline that many people are not prepared to maintain. Perhaps that is why Capricorn often appears unusual. While the world races toward quick rewards, Capricorn is quietly investing in something far more valuable: time. Because time rewards those who remain consistent. And consistency is one of Capricorn's greatest strengths. Life lesson: motivation may start a journey, but discipline is what allows someone to finish it. Capricorn reminds us that success is rarely the result of one dramatic moment. More often, it is the result of small efforts repeated consistently over many years. Comment if you admire people who stay disciplined even when progress is slow. But discipline alone does not fully explain why Capricorn sometimes seems so different from everyone else. There is one final reason many people misunderstand them: the depth of the perspective they carry about life itself. Part 6. Why Capricorn is often misunderstood. After exploring the silence, the emotional strength, the solitude, the unusual way Capricorn approaches love, and the discipline that defines their path, a deeper question begins to emerge. Why do so many people still misunderstand Capricorn? Why does a personality built on patience, responsibility, and quiet determination appear strange to the outside world? The answer may lie in a simple truth about human behavior. Most people are comfortable with what feels familiar. We understand personalities that react quickly. We recognize people who openly express their emotions. We feel at ease around individuals who follow the same social rhythms that everyone else follows. But Capricorn rarely moves according to those rhythms. Their pace is different. Their thinking is slower, deeper, and often directed far into the future. And because of that difference, many people struggle to interpret their behavior correctly. For example, when Capricorn remains quiet in a conversation, some assume they are uninterested. When they prefer solitude, others may believe they are antisocial. When they approach love carefully, people sometimes assume they are emotionally distant. And when they dedicate themselves to long-term goals, they are occasionally labeled as overly serious. But each of these interpretations misses the deeper reality. Capricorn is not distant. They are selective. They are not antisocial. They are protective of their energy. They are not emotionally cold. They simply refuse to treat love casually, and they are not overly serious. They are simply aware that life is shaped by the decisions we make over long periods of time. In many ways, Capricorn carries a perspective that feels older than the fast-moving world around them. They understand that actions have consequences. They understand that time is one of the most valuable resources a person has. And they understand that stability is something that must be built intentionally. These realizations shape how Capricorn moves through life. But because those priorities differ from what many people expect, their behavior often appears unusual. The truth is that Capricorn is not trying to be different. They are simply trying to live intentionally. And living intentionally often requires choices that others may not immediately understand. This difference in perspective can create distance between Capricorn and the people around them. Sometimes they are admired, sometimes they are misunderstood, and occasionally they are labeled with words like strange or weird. But history has shown that many individuals who see life differently are often the ones capable of building something meaningful over time. They are the quiet architects of stability. The people who endure when circumstances become difficult. The individuals who continue moving forward when others lose focus. Perhaps this is why Capricorn often leaves such a strong impression on the people who truly take the time to understand them. Because beneath the calm surface exists a rare combination of patience, resilience, and long-term vision. And those qualities may appear unusual in the present moment, but they are often the very qualities that shape the future. Life lesson. Being misunderstood does not mean something is wrong with you. Sometimes it simply means you are living according to values that others have not yet learned to appreciate. Capricorn teaches us that true strength often develops quietly over time. Comment if you have ever felt misunderstood for simply being yourself. And now, after exploring these layers of Capricorn's personality, we arrive at the final question. Are Capricorns truly strange? Or are they simply living life with a depth that many people are still learning to understand? Conclusion. The truth behind Capricorn's weirdness. So, after exploring the silence of Capricorn, the emotions they carry quietly inside their comfort with solitude, the careful way they approach love, and the discipline that guides their life, we return to the original question. Why do so many people describe Capricorn as strange? Perhaps the answer is simpler than it first appears. Capricorn is not strange. Capricorn is simply living at a different depth. While much of the world moves quickly, reacting to the moment, chasing attention, and searching for immediate results, Capricorn tends to move more slowly, more deliberately. They think before they speak. They observe before they trust. They build before they celebrate. And in a fast world that rewards speed, that kind of patience can look unusual. But history often shows that the individuals who move slowly and intentionally are the ones who build the most stable lives. Capricorn understands something that many people only realize after years of experience. Life is not only about moments of excitement, it is about what you quietly build over time. Every decision, every lesson, every small effort repeated again and again. These are the invisible bricks that eventually create a strong life. And Capricorn has an extraordinary ability to keep placing those bricks even when no one else is watching. That quiet determination may look strange to people who do not understand it. But to those who truly recognize its value, it becomes something admirable, something powerful. Because in a world full of noise, Capricorn represents something rare: consistency, patience, resilience, and the courage to follow a path that does not always look like everyone else's. So perhaps Capricorn is not weird after all. Perhaps they simply refuse to live a shallow life, and that choice naturally makes them different. But sometimes being different is exactly what allows a person to build something extraordinary. If you are a Capricorn watching this video, remember this. The traits that others may misunderstand today may become the very qualities that define your strength tomorrow. Your patience, your discipline, your quiet focus. These are not weaknesses. They are the foundation of something powerful that takes time to reveal itself. And to everyone watching, regardless of your zodiac sign, there is a lesson hidden inside Capricorn's journey. Depth often looks unusual in a shallow world, but depth is also where real strength is formed. Comment below if this message resonated with you. And if you enjoy exploring the deeper psychology behind the zodiac, make sure to subscribe and join this community. Because there are many more hidden truths about Capricorn and the zodiac that we will uncover together. Until the next video, stay curious and keep exploring the mysteries of the human spirit.